Something that's been bothering me for a while with fitness social media, and some people have probably noticed that I've taken breaks periodically, especially with Instagram, because that's the big one for me that really grates on me after a while. And I was trying to understand what has been bothering me about it so bad, and it finally hit me last night while watching a video from someone that I follow and respect. But I came to realize that they and others, and I'm including myself in this, especially sometimes the way I write on Twitter or when I was trying to find my voice and how I wanted to present information, we can get very abrasive with how we present ourselves and our information. And no doubt that works for some people, but I feel like we're losing a lot of people because so many coaches are abrasive. And I think the reason that the messaging can come across as abrasive is because most of us have this desire to fight bad information, especially if we've been in situations where we tried to utilize that bad information and it was either unsustainable or just a terrible idea or based on like shit science. And so we want to fight back against that. But sometimes I think in wanting to do that, we lose sight of what the real mission is, which is to try to get the good information out to as many people as possible. Unfortunately, I think sometimes that's lost because people get on. They're like, oh, they feel like they're being spoken to, or spoken at, rather. So they're being spoken at rather than spoken to, and we lose people that way because who the fuck wants to be spoken at? Nobody. Most of us want to be spoken to. We want to have our questions answered. We want to feel like we're participating in the conversation. We're not just like listening. Now, are there a segment of people who just want to be told what to do and they just want to follow it? 100%. But one thing I have definitely noticed is that might be the case for a lot of people in the beginning of their journey, but as they get going, they start to want to like feel like it's a partnership almost between the person they're learning from and themselves. And I think that's valuable. I get the same way. But I know that if I'm getting turned off by a lot of the way the messaging is presented, then other people are too. And given the obesity rate in this country and how it's growing in other areas of the world as well, we need to figure out how to get the good messaging out there as much as possible. And I'm just not convinced it's doing the same things that the people we're pushing back against are doing, which is that always in your face, always like, this is what's right, you should do this, you shouldn't do this, da 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 da. Because sometimes even in our messaging saying, no, you can do all these things, it doesn't come across as like you can do all these things, if that makes sense. It comes across as overly forceful when I'm not sure it needs to be. Like we talk about having empathy and messaging, and I'm not sure we always do a great job following our own advice on that. So I'm not telling anybody how to utilize social media. If you have a big following and that seems to work for you, fantastic. I guess keep doing what you're doing. But I am saying, as an industry as a whole, I'm not sure we're winning. When we look around, are we winning? Like, is our idea of just push back against the bad information, is that working like the way we want it to? I don't think for most people it is. I think a lot of coaches, given how many coaches also have like free groups for people and put out all this free information, we want to make a living, but one of our goals is also to help people just in general take whatever little bit of information we give them and run with it too. Um, so I think we need to find a better way to do that. And I think our messaging is the way to do it. Let's be real. Most of us are sharing the same information overall. We are sharing about calorie deficits, we're sharing about strength training, we're sharing about protein and fiber and hydration and sleep. Like we're basically all saying the same things in different ways using our unique life experiences to try to connect with the vast public at large. We have to remember that. The same empathy we want to present to them for having for themselves, we need to have to them too. We need to understand that I'm not saying never be kind of in your face with a message, but I'm saying if that's all we're doing, sometimes our messaging can go from trying to present confidence to presenting arrogance. And that turns people off. And I'm not saying that in that we won't capture some people, but it's like having a net with holes that are really big. Like you're gonna lose a lot through that net when you're trying to capture an audience at large. So maybe this doesn't mean fuck all. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's what I'm seeing, and I don't know how we do better. But I know I'm gonna try, and I'm gonna do that through trying to change the way I present my message to be a little bit more talking to as opposed to talking at. It's a small start, but sometimes those small steps are the things that lead us to great things, right? Just like we tell our clients. So let's think about doing this a little different so we can reach as many people as possible, because there's a lot of people out there who want the information we have, but we got to get it to them.